Welcome back to the Run.down. I am Sam. I am joined by Jeff and Tyrese. The NBA schedule came out today. Before we get things started, though, shout out to Bet Online. Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right now from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BLEAV, believe, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. And here we start with the NBA dropping off their regular season schedule. And the Knicks start things off with a classic. I think it's going to be Knicks versus Celtics opening night, October 25th at MSG. Last time the Knicks opened the season versus the Celtics at home was a double overtime classic with Evan Fournier making his, announcement to the league and to the Knicks that, that was going to be his year, apparently. But yeah, we got the Knicks open up the season versus the Celtics on at MSG on ESPN. And yeah, I think that's a great way to start the season. A good test for the Knicks versus a battle-tested Celtics team. They will have probably Kristaps Porzingis playing for them, so we'll be able to see how this new look Celtics team is. And yeah, I think it's good for the Knicks to get things rolling with a good, strong matchup opening night.
I forgot Porzingis was in the Celtics. I completely forgot he was in the Celtics. They probably did that for like the Porzingis reaction too. Like Boston Knicks is always a classic. We had the double overtime game last year with another overtime game. I think did we have two? Was it 2 or 3 overtime games?
We had 2 overtime games against them. There was a double overtime game, and then there was the other overtime game where Jaylen Brown missed the free throws. And then the games at MSG, one of them was like
a blowout.
One of them was like a blowout where we absolutely embarrassed them, and Jason Tatum.
No, I think both of them were blowouts because we blew them out.
And then they blew us out the first one.
They set the 3-point record in the first.
Yeah, they hit 27 threes versus us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good times.
So and then 2 years ago we got the RJ buzzer beater. I don't know if somebody said that, but
yeah,
it's been pretty much all great games.
Yeah, Celtics versus Knicks is almost always a great game these last couple years, and the NBA knows that, and they are doing their best to market the league I guess in that way. And yeah, I can't wait for that matchup, and I will try to do my best to be there for that game because I was there 2 years ago for that overtime classic. So hopefully we can replicate some of that luck.
You're a curse, man. I don't know.
We won that game that I was at. So
yeah, but he was like, "Oh yeah, this could be the peak of the season," and then it was the peak of the season. So I don't know, man.
One thing I don't do is I don't lie. So there's no way you could top a double overtime opening night game, really. Unless you do that in the playoffs or something. And the Knicks didn't even get to the playoffs that year. So
you a hex, bro. All I'm saying. You might have to just show up in February, bro, when it's safe.
But yeah, I mean, Knicks, they have 25 national TV games this year. 20 if you don't count the NBA TV games, which I don't think really anyone really does for whatever reason. But yeah, it's very the league is respecting the Knicks. I know, Jeff, you had some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean that the fact that they have 25 national TV games is, I mean, we used to get we played a Christmas game one year. I mean, we played a lot of Christmas games, but there was one year we played a Christmas game when it was just man, what are we doing on this? It was just clear they were trying to capitalize on Knicks stuff, and I feel like it's actually very clear that the opposite is happening right now. That the Knicks are just a pretty respected team, and I think that across the board, I literally just saw on Twitter that ESPN did its predictions, and one of the people has the Knicks playing the Suns in the finals. So like
Bobby Marks.
Bobby Marks is wild, dog.
I'm not sure that would be my prediction, but I mean, I do think that I do think that people want to watch the Knicks. I mean, obviously there's a huge Knicks fan base, and then there are a lot of people who just hate watch the Knicks. But I think more than ever, there's sort of a middle ground growing that just sort of respects the Knicks and knows that they're a good team with a good like core, I guess, or foundation. They've built a good foundation, and I think a common theme that we're going to talk about this year is, okay, the foundation is built. Do we have what it takes right now to take the necessary next step to meaningfully contend? And if we do, that's great. If the Knicks do right now with this coach and this core, they don't have to do anything. They just, internal improvement and boom, we're making that leap. That'd be amazing. But if they don't, what are the steps that need to happen? I think that's going to be kind of the theme of the season, because honestly, it's just going to be boring to talk all season about how, this is just a good team. This is a good team with a good foundation. I'm looking at the over-unders right now. I'm very, very surprised that the Celtics over-under is 9 games higher than the Knicks. I don't know what you guys think about that. That's bananas to me.
What's the over-under for the Celtics?
The Knicks is 44.5, which feels about right, maybe a little bit low, and the Celtics is 53.5.
What?
The disparity shouldn't be that large.
Right. I bet the Knicks will be favored on opening night. So I don't. I said this last year too. I think it was Nikias. He picked. Did the Knicks play the Hawks on Christmas last year, or was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Fuck. All right, so it wasn't. But I said to him, I was like, well, the Knicks will be favored in that Christmas game against the Hawks, because he was talking about how the Hawks are like way better than the Knicks. But then he ended up being right. So whatever. I guess I was actually wrong. But I mean, are the Knicks? How big of dogs can they be on opening night against the Celtics?
That's probably going to be like a plus, maybe like
right.
a plus 2.5. I would assume it's a plus 2.5 for the Knicks opening night.
The Knicks are just going to win. I don't know.
I think they're going to win that game. I expect that, because
yeah,
it'll be Porzingis coming off an injury. Like, the entire team's hobbled, so I'm not worried about that. I got something wild to predict, but I'm not going to say it yet. So
I think it's really interesting that the Knicks are getting a home and home just right off the bat against Cleveland. Like, the schedule makers are not fucking around. They were like, people want to see that again. I know Cavs fans really want to see that again. And
the way Cavs fans been moving all summer, they talk about Max Strus and Georges Niang. Like, yeah,
they finally got like some type of like semblance of like wing shooting.
Yeah, and look, that's we know what it was like to be in their shoes, because all summer after the Knicks Hawks series, Knicks fans were like, oh,
we got Kemba, we got Fournier,
right.
We finally got like some other scorers and stuff like that, and it like came crashing down on us very horribly. And that could be the same case with these wing shooters that they added. It could bring down their defense like it did with Kemba and Fournier for us.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. You never know what's going to happen. But I think the big thing is that their fan base just really wants like that revenge. And I don't know. It's just, that's tough, because I feel like the Knicks are just a really tough matchup for the Cavs. Like, all the stuff they're good at, the Knicks are kind of good at dealing with. And then all the stuff they're bad at, the Knicks are good at exploiting. So
yeah, it's like their offense is essentially based around two small guards being able to do stuff as pull-up shooters, and the Knicks just have a bunch of non-traditional wings who play really good defense, who you could just throw on them. Like, the Knicks' like big weakness is that they don't have like, the big wing to like stop the big wings of the East, like Tatum, Brown, Butler, and even with Butler, like, I think Grimes did a pretty good job on him. So like, it's kind of just But like, the Cavs specifically played the Knicks. It played into like the Knicks' plans of defense very well, And then like you have a coach like JB Bickerstaff who like runs our 2014 offense, and our coach is stuck in 2014. So it's like that's just a free matchup. Like Tom Thibodeau was literally laughing watching watching their offense play, because like you can't have Mobley shoot. Mobley's not going to be able to shoot. Allen can't shoot. You hope that maybe they're not starting a Okoro this time, but like, is Max Strus going to be the difference?
I do think Strus is, like, in a vacuum, it might not be that meaningful an upgrade, but I do think for the Cavs specifically, he could end up being a pretty large upgrade because he's pretty much exactly what they need. And I remember, God, what's the guy's name that always does the yearly rankings for the Athletic? Seth Partnow.
Yeah.
He talked about like one of his big concerns with free agents or with trades is taking a player out of a place that's a really good system. You know, it's like back in the day, if you guys are football fans, trading for Patriots players or signing Patriots players never worked out because, like, oh, Jamie Collins goes from the Patriots to the Browns. Well, Jamie Collins is really good in New England. It should carry over. It didn't. Like, he was just bad immediately. It's like, oh, Belichick knows how to maximize these guys. Spoelstra knows how to maximize everyone. So, like, if I was a Cavs fan, I'd be a little bit weary of, like, okay, can JB Bickerstaff get out of Max Strus what Spoelstra got out of Max Strus?
Can I answer that question really quickly?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But he is a good shooter. Like, I mean, I do agree with the point that I brought up that Seth makes. But shooting should translate everywhere. That shouldn't be a system thing. And that is the one very big thing they need on the way.
Yeah. It also depends like how the shooter's getting those looks, like if they're getting them in a familiar way or not. Because like if he has to like I guess like I don't want to say force shots, because like Max Strus can make tough shots, which is what makes him so annoying. But like if he's not getting the shots in like the same rhythm or the same like plays that he got them in Miami, it could be a little bit of a tough adjustment period for him in the beginning, at least, I think.
And I just think in general, like, the Cavs don't have the playmaking that the Heat have, because like Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are just such good playmakers. Like, I think Mobley is a budding playmaker, and I think that Garland and Mitchell are good playmakers for their positions, but like Jimmy Butler's ability to just pass the ball and his ability to like do things as a processor is just so far and above what like anybody in the Cavs can do that it's like kind of hard for me to see Strus having that impact. And I'm the last person to give Jimmy Butler credit, but like that man can, like, he had like 6 assists and like less than two turnovers. Like, that guy can pass the ball. Like, he can process the game like at a very, very high level that nobody in the Cavs can at this moment.
I mean, apparently you're not the last person to give him praise, because you're the second person this offseason to bring up Jimmy Butler's passing, and it's just like blowing me away. Like, if you had asked me before you said that, who would you take as a passer between Garland, Mitchell, and Butler, I would have ranked Butler last. And like, or excuse me, as like a, I guess, pure passer, maybe that's underrating Butler, but as like a creator for teammates, like, you know, like I know Butler is good at attacking the paint, but the amount of times you see Butler like go into the paint without a plan, do that little hop step, and then just sort of start pivoting around and reset. I don't know. I mean, I just don't see it. I could see Garland, especially Garland. I guess maybe I could see Mitchell being below Butler or on Butler's plane, but there's no way Butler's a better passer than Garland, or like creator for teammate. That's I don't know. I don't see it, but I already told Prez, who is the person I got into it with, about this. I'm going to pay more attention to Jimmy Butler's passing, because I just haven't seen it, and I don't know.
Well,
I think my bad. Go ahead.
Well, one thing that's good is that we get those Cleveland matchups out of the way super early in the season, because, you know, that will be a long-running storyline, of course, especially since there's this whole talk of Donovan Mitchell. Will he extend with the Cavs? Will he become a free agent? So, you know, it's going to be good to get those matchups out of the way, especially if we could beat the brakes off of them. We can silence some of those talks, especially on our end. But one thing I noticed about the schedule is that we have a really heavy road schedule to start the season. It's not something that I'm really worried about per se, but it's just something interesting to take a look at. Like, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 within like the first like 12 or so.
Wow.
12 or 13 games are like on the road. At Atlanta, at New Orleans, at Cleveland, at Milwaukee, at Boston, at Atlanta, at Washington, at Charlotte, at Minnesota.
Jesus.
From October 25th to November 20th. That's within
Yeah,
just
man.
that span alone.
And then in December, 9 of our 12 games are on the road.
Yeah, it's super road heavy in the beginning, which I guess it like I feel like it's a little bit better to have like a heavier home schedule, I guess, towards the end of the year, just as like you're building that momentum towards the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
if you're like playing really well at home, it bodes well for you towards that part of the season. But it's just very interesting. One thing that I've always noticed about our schedules, we never get one of those like heavy like home stands that like I see other teams like Denver or Golden State will get. Like there's like a point like where last season like Denver and Golden State like they had like 10-game home stands, and I was just like, what the hell? Like I wish the Knicks could get like 10 straight home games. Like that would do wonders for the team chemistry wise. Just like being able to acclimate to like getting like some type of rhythm or whatever it is. But I don't
Billy
know.
Joel got to pay the bills, man. There's always a concert that like breaks it up. Like what you see a lot of the times, like the Knicks will have like a 4-game homestand and then like a 3-game homestand, and then it'll be like maybe they have to have a game or two on the road. It's just that concert money, that revenue.
He's retiring this next year though. 2024 is his last year at MSG.
We're free. We're free.
Ding dong,
Yeah.
the witch is dead.
No more piano, man. We're good.
Oh man. And as we continue to discuss, we do want to let people know that we do have a super chat option. So if you do want to help support us over here at the Strickland, and if you want to get your comments prioritized, that is one way to do it. So we do have that super chat option available for you guys. But yeah, what are some key matchups that stick out to you guys? Looking at this early slate of the season, we do have that in-season tournament that we have not discussed on stream yet ever. So I guess that's a place that we can start with the in-season tournament and our group. So I'll get things rolling with. We have our first in-season tournament match in the group stage. I guess this is what it is. November 3rd versus the Bucks. Then November 17th versus the Wizards. Then November 24th versus Miami. That'll be a very interesting little rematch of last year's second round battles. Maybe they'll have Damian Lillard, maybe they won't. And then November 28th, we do have the Charlotte Hornets. So those are our 4 little group stage games. I think our group is not too bad. A lot of people were complaining earlier on that the Celtics got a really easy group. I forgot what their group is. But I like our group. I think like there's not really a team that really scares me that much. Like Milwaukee's old. Miami, we don't know what their status is going to be by the time this game comes around. Like their team is significantly different, especially if they don't have Damian Lillard too. And then Washington and Charlotte are just like 2 throwaway teams. So how do we feel about the in-season tournament?
We're gonna beat Miami. We're gonna beat Milwaukee. We're gonna lose to Washington. Jordan Poole's gonna get his game off. We're gonna go 3-1. I'm telling you, like either LaMelo Ball and Jordan Poole's gonna get their game off against us. I'm talking like a heater. Like LaMelo could hit like 7 threes and get his game off, or like Jordan Poole's gonna go off for like 40 because Ice Spice is gonna be front row. Like something's gonna happen. That group stage is gonna get me really upset. Also, speaking of the Celtics group, the Celtics group is Raptors, Nets, Bulls, Magic. That group is so like, come on.
Seriously?
That might be like legitimately 3 of the 5 worst teams in the East in that group.
Wow.
The East is kind of just like tough though. I mean, besides the Pistons and the Hornets, I feel like everyone is trying and everyone's at least competent. Like,
I don't think Washington's trying at all.
Oh, I
Washington's just like they're like gluttonous for point guards.
Yeah, you're right. Washington isn't either. But
And then like the Bulls are bad. So
they're always kind of tough, especially with like crew. I don't know. I agree. Like I saw that Harden thing today, and I'd start cracking up. Like, God, that'd be so funny if they traded Levine for Harden. That would just be because like it's like the NBA guys were like, Bulls fans, we gave you Jordan. We're just gonna like shit on you forever. Like they're gonna have hope because I don't know, like that would. Harden and DeRozan would just be the most ridiculous combo ever. Sam would enjoy it. Sam would
wait till they get warm outside.
Don't even get me started on those two come playoff time. Woof! Bulls fans would be shedding so many tears. Oh my god.
Oh, we get these jokes off. Trust me.
Hell yeah.
That NC tournament game where DeRozan was choking.
Speaking of in-season tournament, I wonder how he's gonna do when like the pressure is tilted up. It's not even warm weather. It's gonna be fall weather, and is DeRozan gonna be able to handle that? Like,
if he starts choking in fall weather, we change the narratives. I'm gonna have so much fun. You don't understand. I've been waiting for his downfall for a good minute.
You haven't really had to wait that long. It happens.
I know, but I'm waiting for
a yearly occurrence.
I know. Listen, like DeRozan got like multitudes of downfalls. Like that 2017 series where LeBron beat the brakes off of them. Like that was the apex. I'm trying to find something like that again. I need something like that again. I ain't gonna get it, but like I'm trying. I'm chasing it.
That little stretch was the LeBron just absolutely crushed them. I have this to say about the in-season tournament.
Okay.
So the people who run the NBA probably, especially like the marketing, they know more about like marketing and they know more about just being innovative than I will ever know. So this isn't me like being dismissive. I'm sure there's a chance it could work, but I'm not a huge soccer fan. I don't know if either one of you is or anything, but isn't the whole appeal of Champions League that we're seeing people who would never play in each other play, like the best teams from the EPL, like when Barcelona played Man U in the 2011 or whatever Champions League final, that was considered like an all-time matchup, and it was two of the biggest franchises in soccer who, if Champions League didn't exist, would never, ever, ever play each other. All these teams, there's no world, all the teams that are playing this in-season tournament, it's all the same pool of teams that we see play each other all the time anyways. They're all already competing for an NBA championship. So I don't understand how.
What's the appeal?
What's the appeal? How are stakes ever going to feel like they matter? Because we're all already watching these teams compete and play for a title. I just don't get it. Like, I would get it if they were like, okay, we're going to start integrating like European basketball, because I know there's actually a pretty big segment of people who are like, think that Euroball is like much higher quality than it's given credit for.
Mark Cuban.
Right. And like, I would get it if they were going to try and integrate that, but obviously that's like a reverse free roll for the NBA, because if the NBA ever didn't win that, then all of a sudden, like that's no good. So I just don't get how this in-season tournament ever becomes a thing. Like, I know they're just getting extra eyeballs on games and they're adding a game, so they're making more money. I get it. I get the money side of it, but from a pure fan appeal, I don't understand what the trajectory could possibly be, but that's just me.
I think they're trying to like emulate what the WNBA does with their Commissioner's Cup
in
the middle of the season. And we just saw the Liberty. Shout out to the New York Liberty.
Shout out to the Liberty.
Beating the brakes off the Aces in that Commissioner's Cup final. But yeah, I mean, it's just like something to like, I guess like, I don't know. I guess like just make the middle of the season, or at least that early part of the season, a little bit more interesting. Just add a little more intrigue to it. Add a little bit more storyline to it. Just raise the stakes a little bit. I mean, we saw, at least for the beginning of that Commissioner's Cup final, we saw the jitters were for real in that game, as like no one could score for like the first like 5 or 6 minutes of that game. So maybe we see something like that in like this NBA in-season tournament game. Like maybe we see like some of our like favorite playoff failure performers, like they start choking up in these games because they realize like, oh shit, it's not just a regular season game. It's like a game that has like additional stakes, because like there is a cash incentive for these players. I know most of these players, they make a bunch of money anyways, but like for like some of these like some of these guys that are like not making so much money, they might like take these games a little bit more serious because
Jericho Sims is about to beat his ass off.
Jericho Sims and Deuce McBride, they might just want a little pay raise. They might, turn things up to level 25 in these games.
Deuce
So,
McBride is about to hoop like it's game 7.
Some of these guys, they might want that extra cash. So,
You want to see some pickups at 94 feet by like the 15th man on the bench because the stars ain't going to be playing in these games.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's going to be peak basketball. Jose Alvarado's getting his game off.
But yeah, I guess that's the appeal. But Jeff, I do absolutely see where you're coming from in terms of like, we see all these teams play each other already. And that's like with the Commissioner's Cup too. I mean, with the Commissioner's Cup, it does add a little bit, like we see teams play each other a little bit more than they do. Like the Aces and the Liberty, they play each other like what 5 times this season. And that usually doesn't happen between like 2 teams in this league, right, Tyrese, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it usually is like they play less, but like the Liberty and Aces keep playing and the Liberty keep winning, so we go take those.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess like it adds like more matchups, like I guess for those teams that are really good. Like if those teams that are really good take this seriously, we get to see good teams play each other that much more often, and the stakes are that much more important, I guess.
I do think it's kind of similar to the Commissioner's Cup. In general, it's just basketball to me. Like it would be nice to kind of have the Vegas environment, and I do think it's part of the trial run for like, can Vegas handle an NBA franchise, which it can. Like, why are we even trying to debate this? But like, I don't know. It just kind of feels like it's a way for them to milk money. It's a way for them to get some primetime games on TV. And ultimately speaking, like, it doesn't really harm anything. Like, unless you're very much against the 83rd game if you make it to the finals, which I doubt is going to be very high quality, unless the league wants to, like, enforce a rule or something. But, like, yeah, it's basketball. I'm not really having too many opinions on it either way.
All I'm saying, though, when the Knicks win it, I am flaunting that. We are
we talking shit.
The streets. We are storming the streets if the Knicks win that.
Oh, yes, we are. What you talking about? Like,
we are storming the streets.
It's the most legitimate competition of all time. That's my chip. I don't even care if we win the finals. We win the finals.
I'm getting that tattooed on me somewhere that we won that. Like,
all right,
it is for real. It's gonna be a small tattoo. It's not gonna be nothing big. That's
I don't even know what does the trophy look like. I wonder, have they even shown the trophy yet?
Yeah, it's like advertised all over the thing. It's like in the in-season tournament like logo. That's the cup.
That looks like.
It's not supposed to be as extravagant as
Why is it like half a basketball though? Like,
I don't know.
Trying to say it's just the halfway tourney, like.
Yeah, sorta. It's like the NBA Cup too, so
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I like the Commissioner's Cup better. That's cooler. This one,
that trophy does look nice. All right. So from there, what are some other key matchups that have caught your eye? And then we will get into some comments and continue our conversation from there. But what are some key matchups that have stuck out to you? Is that Phoenix Suns finals preview one of your guys' matchups that you're looking forward to? Bobby Marks is hilarious. I do understand his reasoning though. Like, continuity does matter in this league. The Knicks being able to return 13 guys, like he says, from last year's team does matter.
Last year with the Heat, like the Heat and the Celtics were probably the 2 teams that changed the least over the season.
And they both made it back to the conference finals.
Yep, and a lot of people didn't think they were going to either way. So I can see the idea of continuity.
How much longer do we have to pretend the Heat were good? Like, honestly, how much longer do we have to do that? At what point are they going to understand like shit like regression and variance and just like they just weren't a good team? I just don't get it. Like, I'm not being like bitter. The Knicks lost them. They were better than the Knicks in that series. Obviously, I'm not saying, but like, you have a season's worth of data for a reason. They were literally 3 minutes away from losing to the Bulls at home after getting dropped. Like, okay, like I just don't understand. Like, How long until? And the thing is if they get Dame, they'll never have to address it. Like if they don't trade for Dame, they're just gonna be mediocre again this season, and they'll have to be like, oh shit, like maybe we weren't this special. Like it's just so fucking annoying that the Knicks lost that series, and
it's very annoying.
It's it's literally the most Knicks thing in the entire world, because if you had told us, I'm sure you could go back and find a clip of us at the start of the season. Every single one of us would have signed for a second round exit, but they get an 8 seed. They get an 8 seed. That's like they should be. They went 3-1.
An 8 seed that was hobbled. They didn't have Hero. They didn't have Oladipo. They were like on their last legs. They were supposed to get
the Knicks were lucky, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's Tibbs versus Spo. Like I guess if a Heat fan wanted to make an argument that the Heat are playoff risers because they have the best coach in the sport, I would actually be open to that. All this other bullshit, though, is so annoying. Like the Jimmy Butler stuff. Has anybody taken a look at what Jimmy Butler did after round 1? Anybody? People were talking about like, oh my god, he's better than Tatum.
Josh Hart, we thank you for your service.
Tatum absolutely wiped the floor with Jimmy Butler. The only reason the Heat won that series is the non-Jimmy Butler minutes, non-Jimmy Butler input. Like, sorry, Jason Tatum didn't have Caleb fucking Martin on his team and his 80% true shooting percentage. Like, I just don't. It's so infuriating, and it
was all Josh Hart's fault. If you ask Heat fans, it's all Josh Hart's fault.
They had their enforcer take out like 6 different Knicks. How many different Knicks did Bam Adebayo take out that series? Quickly, Grimes, Julius. Who else? There's more people.
Brunson.
Oh yeah, Brunson.
RJ, Mitch.
That's the entire starting lineup of the 6 man.
He took out our 6 best players. He was sent on a mission.
I can't believe the gods had us lose to an 8 seed Heat team.
That wasn't God. That was top
it was the basketball gods giving us a little wink at like when we took out Miami as an 8 seed, back in '99. They were like, yeah, don't get too ahead of yourselves, guys.
It just sucks. Like, I know there are Knicks fans who probably are like, oh, that Knicks team was really, really good and they were way better than an 8 seed. But if you ask me, like, if the Heat and Knicks played that 99 series again, the Heat would have been huge favorites. And I'm happy to admit that. Like, the Heat were the 1 seed for a reason. So why can't they have reasonable people who are like, yeah, the Heat weren't that good? They're all like, oh, yeah, we're this sick team. We're playoff risers. And if they don't get Damian Lillard, what are they going to do? What are they going to be? What is their ceiling without Damian Lillard?
It's so bad because, like, they don't have Gabe Vincent. They don't have Max Strus. Who else did they lose?
They got Josh Richardson, though.
God, is Richardson really back with the Heat?
Yes,
yeah.
he is.
He signed with them.
Like, first or second day of free agency, he came back to the Heat.
Yeah. After all those guys left. But let's see when do we face the Heat. So we do face the Heat. Our first matchup is that in-season tournament group stage game, November 24th. Then we play them again in January 27th at home.
April 2nd for the last game.
Every time the Heat play the Knicks, it's a reminder of just how far away the Knicks are from a scheme and execution standpoint from like meaningfully contending.
Yeah.
The Knicks would be like if Spo is the Knicks coach.
Woof. Championship.
They'd be the championship favorite.
They'd be doing action. Oh
my God. Once you get Jeff into in-season mode already.
God, this is so fucking frustrating. We're 2 months away. And I already am thinking about this shit. I just don't. All right. Somebody else talk. I'm already furious.
So yeah, those matchups catch my eye just because they're a rematch of the second round of last year. It's going to be interesting to see what Miami rolls out. Like we've been speaking about, they don't have Dame, they don't have Gabe Vincent, they don't have Max Strus, they won't have Oladipo because he's hurt still, and Tyler Hero's going to be a little bit bitter heading into the season. Maybe that puts a chip on his shoulder. Maybe that regresses his game a bit. I don't know. But they are lacking. And it's going to be I think the Knicks should be able to handle this matchup very easily during the regular season. But yeah, those matchups catch my eye so far.
You say that, and then Thomas Bryant gets his game off against us.
Who? Thomas Bryant? He's on
Thomas
the
Bryant.
Heat?
Yeah,
Oh
Thomas
my
Bryant.
gosh. He's gonna be the
I
type
feel
to
like-
like 5 threes versus us, and I'm gonna be so insufferable.
I mean, when we do our preseason preview or whatever, one of the things we have to cover is who is the most likely to have the Ricky Rubio Torian Prince game that's going to drive Sam. It's going to drive Sam.
Don't start. We can do that tonight.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, I'm
we
not
can
looking
talk about
forward.
that tonight.
Let's not.
Oh, I got a list. I'm ready.
Oh my gosh.
Let's hear some names on the list.
Okay, first of all, Christian Wood. I feel like he
If he even
qualifies for
gets
this.
signed,
Well, I think he's going to
that guy's gonna be in the CBA.
All right. I have to think. Look, Gabe Vincent for sure. Because Gabe Vincent somehow decided to become a 20 PPG, 60 true shooting scorer against us, dude. It made no sense whatsoever.
He's a Laker, right?
He's a Laker, yes.
Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder, because we had to play him 4 times a year.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Yep.
He's so annoying. And
Why
like
did
watching
the
him in FIBA,
why-
I'm gonna know he's gonna be like so annoying versus us.
Why did the Raptors not just trade OG for Quickly?
Because the Raptors are ran by Masai Ujiri, who thinks that this is
Ujiri wants he's gonna want Quickly and like 4 first-round picks attached to Quickly for.
They've got to have. There's got to be somebody who's like they've got to have an analytics guy.
He is the dictator.
Like if I was asking for RJ and 3 firsts, and the Knicks were laughing at me and said no, I would just be like, okay, we'll take Quickly and 2 firsts, or like or I'd start with 3 firsts because you could just be like, oh well, RJ's a better trade chip than Quickly, and then they'd be like, probably no still, and then I'd go down to 2 firsts. Like I don't get why the Raptors thought Dennis Schroeder is an answer. I don't get what the Raptors are doing at all.
The Raptors don't get what they're doing at all either.
They're trying to compete, but they want to trade Siakam.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Isn't he gonna be a Hawk?
Apparently, he's supposed to be a Hawk. But I don't know at this point. Okay, so some candidates for get your game off. Shake Milton.
Yeah. What team is he on?
He's on Minnesota now.
Minnesota.
This is a hot take for me. Joe Ingles. I think Joe Ingles is a really good get your game off candidate. Javon Carter.
Magic.
Is he still a Buck?
No, he's on Chicago now.
What?
Yeah.
They got another one of those defensive first guards?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Eric Gordon.
Did you see his dunk yesterday? That was so sick.
Bro, he is hooping. I still want him. I don't care. Me and Press are on Eric Gordon Island, and we've been here since like 2020. I want Eric Gordon.
That was a good get for Phoenix.
That was, because that contract is insane. All right, last one. This might be a bit of a hot take, but you know what? I feel confident in saying it. Torrey Craig.
Yeah. Where's he?
Torrey Craig is with Chicago Bulls. I just feel like the Bulls scrubs are gonna have a game.
What are the Bulls doing?
This is exactly why we were like, they're like one of the worst teams in the East.
Yeah, I don't. I guess the Knicks are just a really good franchise. I don't know. That's so boring to me. Like the Knicks are, they have a bunch of good contracts. Yeah. All I have to be mad about is the coach. But believe me, I'm gonna milk the fuck out of that. Like that's not going anywhere. So
for sure.
And even he's like, the thing is like, I feel like I have to
for
emphasize every time he's a good coach. Like obviously, I just feel like it's a misalignment thing more than he's a bad coach, and I just feel like it's a misalignment thing. And I feel the need to say that because one, I want to be respectful to a human being who obviously tries really hard at his job. But two, I don't want people thinking that I'm like, oh, this guy who literally knows more about basketball than or has forgotten more about basketball than I'll ever know. It's not like I think he's an idiot. I just don't think he's the right coach for the Knicks, but whatever. I could be wrong about that.
And
I forgot one. Patrick Beverly.
Patrick Beverly on the Sixers. And if you're in the comments, definitely let us know what interesting matchups that you are looking forward to as well, so that you can chime in on the conversation. I would add. So we covered the Boston game, the opening night game. That's always a classic. We covered the Cleveland home and home. We covered the Miami games. Another interesting Eastern Conference opponent I'm looking at is the Sixers, with all their dysfunction going on right now. That is going to be interesting regular season wise in terms of, does James Harden suit up for them this year? If he does, what version of James Harden are we getting?
He fat suits up for them.
Exactly. And like
Sam did something right, because first of all, Sam tweets like 6 words and it gets like 70,000 likes.
Bro,
like
it's nuts.
Once every 3 months, Sam just goes Twitter viral. But then the gods give him this James Harden. Just put it on a platter for him, and it's like he gets to enjoy James Harden every year, just having some
a meltdown. He's having a meltdown every year. This is amazing.
They brought back your favorite video, the Michael Jackson James Harden playoff video.
Yes, I love that.
Classic.
That is my favorite right there. But yeah, I mean, like, seriously though, like these Sixers matchups this year, they're going to be interesting to see, because like, does James Harden suit up for them? Is he going to be in the fat suit, as Tyrese said? Like, do they trade him? What do they get back in a trade for him? What does that team look like?
Marcus Morris wetting you up in the middle of January, bro. That might be it. That might be it for me. I'm sorry.
But yeah, like, what do the Sixers get back for for James Harden? And like, what does their team look like? Because like Sixers, they've always been like a tough matchup for the Knicks, I guess, like regular season wise. Even like James Harden in his decline was still able to like give us like, so he gave us a crazy game in MSG this year, where like he hit like, what was it, like
Christmas
6
game.
threes or whatever it was, the Christmas game. Like, it was insane. So like, even in his decline, he was still able to like do things versus us. And you always got Joel Embiid. You know, he's always going to be an annoying nuisance with the free throw baiting and whatnot. And you had Georges Niang with all the threes, but he's gone now. So it's like, it's the Sixers are always going to be a matchup that I'm always looking forward to.
Let's be honest. Georges Niang is a joke. The fact that dude, he came out after that Christmas game and said, and this is me defending Tibbs. He said, I haven't seen drop coverage since high school. And then every team forever, the next like 20 games, played drop coverage against him. Like, what is he watching? I don't understand. Like, why? Why did he say that? It's like he just said it to piss me off. Like, is he not paying attention? I don't.
Now he's on Cleveland, so we get to beat him. It's great.
Yeah. The only team playing drop coverage.
Speaking of the Sixers, though, like I just don't think they're going to be good. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just not convinced that team's going to be good. Like, they lost all of their shooters and didn't add anybody back. Unless you want to count Patrick Beverly and Mo Bamba as additions. And I don't. And Montrezl Harrell just tore his ACL.
So, somebody tell me what happened here. I saw Paul Reed got offered a really weird, but like, I'm not saying it was too much, but like the way it was, the way the yearly money was set, he was offered a weird contract by the Jazz. Did the Sixers match that?
They did.
Yes.
And then they also signed Harrell again? Do they still have
Harrell? They signed Harrell. They signed Bamba. They signed Paul Reed. They have Embiid. They're going absolute big boys version this year.
What is anyone doing? What are any of these teams doing? How can anybody not? I'm not saying Leon Rose has been perfect, but holy shit, when you look at
Bobby Marks might be onto something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. The East looks horrible this year, man. East looks garbage. Like, the top 3 teams in the East are an old-ass Bucks, a Celtics with no playmaking. Like, I'm sorry. If Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the 2 best playmakers on your team, and I like Derek White, but Derek White is not somebody who I trust to run playoff offense.
True.
So, like, unless Malcolm Brogdon somehow is going to have a resurgence and be able to play games in late May, no, that's not happening. So, like, the East to me just looks free as fuck.
Bobby Marks might be a visionary. I don't know.
And I just don't think Cleveland matches up with the Knicks well. I think the Knicks if Cleveland and the Knicks were to match up again, maybe they take an extra game.
And if
But I
Miami
think the
doesn't
Knicks
get
beat them.
Dame, then that's definitely free.
They're not getting Dame. Because by every account, they're not getting Dame because nobody else wants to trade for Dame. Nobody else wants him.
Like, how can we have any faith that the Knicks will beat the Heat? I just don't get it. Like, I wouldn't have.
I'm sorry, but like, if they I can understand kind of like Caleb Martin and Max Strus and Gabe Vincent getting your game off. If you lose to Thomas Bryant and Josh Richardson,
the Knicks have to fold.
I have more faith
They
in
have
that.
to fold over.
They have probably two of the three best players in the series and the best coach. Like, I don't know. Apparently, that's enough. I'm befuddled after the last. Like, I don't know. I just all the chips aligned for the Knicks to make the conference finals against a team that the Knicks played really well.
Make the finals, not the conference.
All they had
the
to do. It literally was 2013 all over again. Because look, I know that was prime LeBron 2013. I genuinely think that the Knicks were a tough matchup against that Heat team because
I agree.
The Heat's blitzing defense with Bosch playing super far off, it didn't do anything against the Knicks because they played an ISO-heavy offense with Melo. And look, Melo's not a great passer, but he was a willing passer that season out of double teams and always started those, like he made those cross-court passes and the swings. And I'm not saying we would have beaten the Heat, but I think we could have given them a tough matchup. And all we had to do was beat the fucking Pacers. And Roy Hibbert and Schwinn, why did you share that video a few days ago? And then 10 years later, all we have to do is beat an 8 seed. And there's nothing like being in
history repeats itself in the worst ways possible.
I fully believe that the Knicks beat the Heat, they want to go into the finals. I think they beat the Celtics that year because the Celtics looked horrible in that series. I'm sorry,
except Tatum. Tatum was
except for Tatum, but Jaylen Brown,
$300 million.
Jaylen Brown and fucking Julius Randle doing the goddamn Spider-Man pointing meme that entire series, while Jalen Brunson gets his game up because nobody on the team could guard Jalen Brunson. That
would have been really fun to watch.
Our guards are really, really comfortable against Boston, and now they don't have Marcus Smart. I like how, by the way, all of a sudden, Knicks fans spent, and I'm sorry, I hope no Knicks fans offended by this, but whatever. Knicks fans spent years
They'll always get offended by everything.
Shitting on Marcus Smart. Literally, they would always be like, oh, he's not good, he can't shoot. And it was so obvious the whole time how important Smart was to that team. Now Smart's gone, and all the Knicks fans are like, you guys lost Marcus Smart. And it's like, you guys pretended he sucked all this time.
Oh man. Looking through the schedule. Christmas Day game versus Milwaukee. And 2 days before that, versus Milwaukee again. So
what?
Yeah, they
is that a home and home?
No, it's both at MSG. Not back to back, but yeah, the 23rd and Christmas.
Okay, Adam Silver might be cooking. Adam Silver
Milwaukee and Milwaukee. It's weird. It's weird to do a Christmas Day preview 2 days before Christmas.
I like it though.
Why? Explain.
Because
I sort of disagree with you, Tyree. So I'm curious to hear why.
I kind of like it because I think the Knicks win. I think the Knicks split that series. Either way, even if it's Christmas Day or they win the game beforehand. But I kind of like the idea just as a fan of watching a team play each other, kind of feel each other out, and then the idea that the Christmas game might be really good. As a fan, I like it. As a Knicks fan, I don't.
Tyrese, last Christmas, my brother made prime rib for Christmas dinner. It was awesome. It was such a good dinner. But if he just made it 2 nights before, I'd be like, we just had this.
I could pass on this.
I mean, if it's hitting in his hand, no?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's gonna taste good both ways, but I'd rather not have had it 2 nights ago. 2 nights before,
I know, but as a fan, I just want to see the little changes that might get made in that little mini series. I feel that'd be interesting. Plus, I always just like watching Giannis play. It's always good to watch Giannis play. I wouldn't be surprised if he
not versus us.
Okay, listen.
So, by the way, I want to say this right now because I feel so thankful to be, on this show with you guys. I love it. James just
I was just about to highlight. Yeah,
gave us our first super chat.
First ever super chat in the Strickland history.
This won't be a regular thing, but whoever gives the biggest super chat, I'm gonna give a piece of Strickland swag to. I'm gonna gift it to them, and who gifted the most, and I will hook you up.
Shout out to James. He says good morning. So good morning.
Yeah, good morning, James.
Too, James.
Thanks for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. That is a good reminder for anyone out there that if you want to help support us and if you want to comment highlighted, could donate it. So yeah. Let's get through some of these comments. We do got some people that are giving their input on, I guess, some of the matchups that they are anticipating and I guess just overall hype for the season. Aaron De Niro says, I don't want to be that guy to be getting hype over summer clips, but from what I've seen, the season looks promising for real. And
okay, get hype. Like,
and we just talked about how inferior our Eastern Conference opponents look right now. So
let me say this now.
It's really good for Tyrese that this is happening because now the expectations are raising. He gets to either dig in even more if it's a flop, or he gets to just pretend he was cool with it all along. It's kind of win-win for Tyrese.
I win every time. Y'all don't realize this. Like, I structure it in a way so that either I'm winning or I'm able to ride the coattails if I'm losing. Like, let me say this now.
You don't do that at all. Like if me and Sam took like a day, we could make a whole compilation video of all disgusting things you said about RJ Barrett. Like you do not do this at all. But go ahead, go off.
Listen. I am irrationally high in the Knicks this season, and I'm gonna admit that. Like, I think 50 wins is I think 50 wins is the baseline. Like, I think the Knicks could win 50 games. Very, very, very. I want to say easily, but like they could win games.
Convincingly?
Yes, convincingly. I think they win 50 games. I think they flirt with a top 3 seed. I think this team can legitimately make the finals next year. I don't like the East right now. I think the East right now is a bunch of question marks. I think Philadelphia is out of it. Mentally, they're out of it. I think right now the Cavs just are not good enough. I think the Celtics have a bunch of question marks, and the Heat are not real. If the Knicks, and specifically Julius, Dion, Randall, can just show the fuck up when it matters, tell me why this team can't make the finals.
That's a big if.
Yes, Tom Thibodeau. I understand that. But, like, you look at the competition in the East, and, like, again, aside from Spoelstra's coaching, like, does anything in the East really, like, make you scared or feel like it's insurmountable? Like, I think the Knicks right now are probably being slept on. I think we're sleeping in the continuity. Continuity. I can't speak right now. I'm sorry. I think the Knicks continuity is very underrated, unless you're Bobby Marks. I think the Knicks have 2 All-NBA caliber players. I think they have the best depth in the entire East and arguably in the league. And if one lone Canadian who is right now playing in the FIBA tournament could just give me 37% from 3, why can't the Knicks do it? Why can't the Knicks be the Cinderella story?
Tyrese, can I ask you something about the non-RJ part of what you just said?
Yes.
What do you mean when you say you think the Knicks, specifically Julius, like when you say he's an all-NBA talent? I know he's made 2 of the last 3 all-NBA teams, but like, what do you really mean by that? Like, do you actually think he's a top 15 player in the league?
Regular season, given the durability, and I'm factoring the durability fairly heavily because like not a lot of guys in the league are more durable than him. And also given the fact that like he is, again, I think he's a top 15 regular season player. I think the guys that might be ahead of him talent-wise get dinged because of durability. Like, yes, Kawhi Leonard is a better player than him in the regular season. Kawhi Leonard is going to play 50 games, 55 games, maybe. You look at somebody like Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis can't put 60 games together healthy. Brandon Ingram can't put 60 games together healthy. Zion Williamson, don't even need to go into that conversation. off the court or on the court, honestly. So I think when you factor in the fact that like a lot of the guys that might be ahead of him talent wise don't stay in the court, and then like you have guys who do stay in the court just aren't as good as him, I feel confident in saying that like regular season he's 15 to 20. And I don't think that's like much of a hot. I think maybe it's a hot take, but it's like the production speaks for itself. We've seen the impact stats. We've seen how volatile this team can be when he's off and how good they can be when he's on. Now, does Jalen Brunson ascending to the heights that I think he's going to ascend to this year maybe kind of make him like more of a top 25 regular season guy? Maybe, but like also that's not a bad thing. If Jalen Brunson's putting up the numbers I think he's going to put up this year, I'm okay with that. I'm going to live with that. So, but I do think that the Knicks are ultimately going to have like two guys who score 25 plus who make the all-star team and will flirt with all NBA, and one of them's going to make it. And I would assume it's probably Jalen Brunson this year, but like Julius Randle won't be far behind him in terms of like all NBA level impact.
Jalen Brunson's definitely got the media on his, like, he's got the media hype now. Like,
He's making the all-star team this year.
You saw Kendrick Perkins saying like he's like superstar level now. Like, you know, he's
right. Big Perkins be spitting. Like he put up 31 in that series with like 65 true shooting, dude. Anybody who thinks JB Ball is the best player in that series did not watch that series.
Yeah, they're drunk. I don't know who's saying that, but yeah.
So the weird thing about the Knicks though is like, and this, like especially it applies to Brunson and Randall, is it's kind of like a chicken egg thing, right? Like, yes, they both had really good seasons. I agree with that, especially Brunson. I had a really good postseason, but how much of what they're doing is not sustainable, is going to be replicable if and when either A, they bring in more talent, or B, they improve their scheme to the point that it's not just these two guys mostly running isolations over and over again. They start to play basketball that is more team-based and maybe raises the team ceiling in theory. I feel very confident that Brunson has a lot of valuable skills, especially on the offensive side of the ball, that when those things happen, Brunson will still be a really good player and a really impactful player in the most important moments. And I'm skeptical that Randall is willing to do those things.
We kind of get a glimpse of it in FIBA right now.
Right. You see what Kerr is doing. He's basically like, all right, Brunson, like I'm going to put you in spots you're most comfortable, but he's still, as much as some Brandon Ingram fans might disagree, he's not like isolating like he is on the Knicks. He's actually playing a lot more off ball, and you're seeing him move.
He's a filthy fucking ball hog. Didn't you see Jalen Brunson chucking all these shots?
Crazy. Dude, Jalen Brunson ruined a practice FIBA game for somebody. That's gotta be one of the funniest things.
Tyrese Halliburton would have passed Brandon Ingram the ball. Look at the assist that Halliburton had, bro. Look at this. Did you see my fucking assist though? Like, come on.
But he is moving off ball more, and I think you see it a lot when he shares the court with Quickly. Like Brunson is a willing off-ball player, and he's a really good processor who makes those swing passes, and he likes to move. And both Randall, I still haven't seen anything that tells me like when the day comes when Randall can't have this offense that Tibbs has basically catered to him, and he actually has to start doing things that maybe are out of his comfort zone. I just don't know how confident that I am that he'll do those things in New York, if I'm being honest.
Very fair concerns. I share them as well. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Tyrese, how do you feel about your favorite player on the Knicks, RJ Barrett, and his summer so far?
I don't give it. I'm not talking about RJ Barrett until Christmas.
Interesting.
You're giving him the Schwinn.
I'm not talking about him until Christmas. I don't give a damn about any of these clips. I'm glad he's getting his name off. Represent your country. Go ahead, bro. It's your team. Because Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is not showing up because he's an IG thought. But like, I don't want to talk about RJ Barrett until Christmas.
unless he dips below 40% shooting after 10 games, in which case then I get any and all slander off.
Dude, last year on all the preseason pods, Schwinn was like, I'm not talking about Randall until at least 60 games in. And then Randall had like that bad first 10 games, and Schwinn was just like, dude, fuck this guy. He was just shitting on him immediately.
Y'all would get talking real sweet after that Minnesota game. Like after that Minnesota game, I was like, Randall is back. And y'all was like, oh, he's not back. And then I was quote tweeting that every time he had his game off. And y'all quote tweeting at the end of the season, whatever. But like, listen, I want to give him a chance. I really do. But like, I just feel like every time I give him a chance, he hurts me. He hurts me.
Well, I mean, he's had a pretty good. I mean, he had good playoffs, and then he's having a good FIBA. This is like good momentum.
He is playing L bench warmos. Like,
hey, I mean, FIBA is the best place to get like your game off and like get some momentum heading into the season.
Dennis Schroeder was the best game in that German Canada game. Dennis Schroeder was getting his game off. You're telling me Dennis Schroeder is some kind
Patty
of star?
Mills used to cook Team USA in FIBA like 3 years ago. So like these players, when they get to the international stage, it's the best time for them to like get momentum heading into the season. Like,
all right, Joe Ingles is gonna get his game off this year, bro. You heard it here first. Evan Fournier.
hey,
I just want to say this. In my opinion, the biggest problem with the RJ FIBA stuff isn't the competition, or
it's the way he's getting his looks.
It's the way he's getting his looks. That's exactly what I was gonna say. If we just like, let's just say, it's Tibbs, so I think it's pretty likely. Let's just say that the Knicks kind of run back last season. They're like, oh, we had the number 2 offense. Don't change what's broken. RJ's going to be playing in limited space, and he's going to be the number 3 option. And so the truth of the matter is what the most likely outcome is RJ isn't getting the consistent touches that we're seeing in FIBA, and because Tibbs wants him to be a role player in this starting lineup, and RJ wants to be a star. That is the biggest problem, is that disconnect right there. Because RJ, rightfully or wrongly, I'm not making a statement. I know some people agree. I know some people disagree. RJ sees himself as like an all-star, like number 1 option. That's what he wants to be, and like good for him for wanting to be that. Every player should want to be that. But he has not done a good job of being the player that Tibbs, or playing the role that Tibbs has etched out for him. And, you know, that's what the lineup data reflects, is that RJ is not good in the role that the Knicks want for him.
You could have stopped that the RJ is not good, but continue.
Oh my god!
Because you see him play well all the time when he's in the role he's comfortable in. Like, why do you think he wins his minutes with Quickly every year?
Because Quickly is a god.
But also because Quickly is the guy who puts him in the spots that he's comfortable playing.
Quickly can put Jesus Christ into the right spot.
I mean, I agree with you to some extent.
So it's all Quickly. Like Quickly's the engine of that entire unit. In every like 2-man game that Quickly plays with like some of the more volatile players, it's just Emmanuel Quickly being Jesus Christ reincarnate, because he's legitimately the best impact role player in the league. And I'm not taking anything. I'm not like, that is the best impact role player in the league, dude.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're preaching the choir with that. I agree with you. But one of the reasons that Quickly is so valuable as an impact role player is because of his chameleon-like ability to fit into any lineup. And one of his ways of fitting into lineup context is fitting in next to RJ Barrett and understanding when RJ is at his best and how to make him at his best. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it goes both ways, though. Like, RJ has to also play well when he's playing next to Quickly for these minutes to work. It's not just like we watch the games. It's not just Quickly. All of a sudden, his usage goes from 19% to 70% when he's playing with the bench units. No, he's playing Emmanuel Quickly basketball, and part of that is enabling RJ and doing stuff that to be frank, Brunson and Randall don't do, and they're probably coached not to do. Because why would Tom Thibodeau coach Jalen Brunson to enable RJ Barrett? Like, that wouldn't make sense. Jalen Brunson is legitimately one of the 10, 15 best offensive players as an initiator in the entire league. Of course, you're going to lean on Jalen Brunson more. Whereas Emmanuel Quickly is more limited. He doesn't get to the basket like RJ does. He doesn't shoot from the mid-range like Jalen Brunson does. He's a good offensive player, but he's more limited. So he's probably coached to, okay, RJ, this is your time to get off. And Quickly does that because he's a great team player, and RJ Barrett plays better in those lineups. So the point is that RJ Barrett doesn't have to be this impact sieve that he seems to be in the starting lineups. But he is, because in those starting lineups, he is asked to do things that either he's unwilling or uncomfortable to do. And so to bring it back to my point, to me, the most likely outcome, unless RJ has a huge mental makeover, is that the minutes with the starters kind of look similar to how they've looked, unless he, again, has a mental makeover or just runs really hot from three. Those are the two.
Yeah, honestly, like, if he just shoots decently from three, the minutes look better.
Yeah,
that's kind of the barometers. Like, if he's a credible threat from three, like,
The shot does look improved this year.
I ain't
does.
buying it. Anyway,
You're never buying it.
I'm sorry. I love I love Prez, and the video I watched it. Drew Hanlon is not getting any faith out of me until I see it in action.
It is in action.
And games that matter.
All right, FIBA starts in like
This is glorified pro run. I don't care.
the real FIBA starts soon. That's when
Alright.
the games will matter.
If he starts sticking up to join when the real FIBA game starts soon, I remember that.
All right.
And I don't want to hear nobody talking about his launch angle. I want to hear talking about his ex Woba going to the wrong
Oh
whatever.
boy.
But like,
it will. I will. I just want to. I want to bring it back to the hypothetical that I brought up. I'll be very curious to see. So, like, let's say the Knicks get off to a not a bad start, but like a mediocre start. Like a little bit above 500 or hovering around 500, and RJ kind of plays in a way that is similar to last season. I'll be curious to see which way both A, Knicks fans, and B, the Knicks go. Because I think just a little bit more of that from RJ, it'll be proof that something has to change if he's going to work in New York. Like, because he's probably not right to be that third option role player. That's one of the funniest things about NBA Twitter. I see it so much on Knicks Twitter, is they think that like options are linear. Like they'll be like, oh, can you like
2K.
like it's 2K. Like they build teams and they're like, can you imagine fourth option Julius Randle? And it's like fourth option Julius Randle would be so much worse than like fourth option Obi Toppin. And I don't get that people don't understand that. Like their output doesn't just replicate as a fourth option. These are human beings who have to be like bought in and engaged to certain roles. RJ Barrett clearly sees more for himself. I don't know how much more evidence we need that. So unless Brunson and Randall are willing to be like, okay, we're going to actually take a step back for the betterment of the team, which I'm not sure Tibbs is going to be too fond of.
I mean, remember when they did that to begin the season, where like RJ Barrett had like 3 more shot attempts per game than like Brunson or Randall, and the team sucked. And then Julius Randle was like, "I'm not doing this shit," and like on his birthday, he went up for 30, and then the next season turned around.
Well,
that
basically turned around for a lot of other reasons besides.
Yeah, but like that was kind of like the starting point of the next season turnaround. Was like Julius Randle went, "I'm tired of RJ Barrett taking shots that he should not be taking." It was that game before, like he had like 9 shots in total, and he tried to do the more like the third option facilitator role shit. And then he was like, "I'm gonna shoot. It's my birthday," and then he had like 32 and 15 or whatever. So like, I just kind of feel like if RJ Barrett is giving you traditional RJ Barrett production, I would not be surprised if you just kind of see like the leash get significantly shorter. Like, because Josh Hart is trusted. Emmanuel Quickly is trusted. Dante DiVincenzo is going to work his way into this rotation to be an impact player fairly easily. Like, he plays defense, he shoots.
If he stays healthy and replicates what he did in Golden State, then yeah.
Absolutely. Like,
I don't know. Golden State's got that devil magic where like guys go to them, stay healthy, and then they leave, and then they just turn back into like paper mache again. Look, i.e., Otto Porter.
bro, I still don't understand how Otto Porter stayed healthy an entire playoff run and somehow was productive. But shout out to Otto Porter. But like you have a bunch of veterans for Tom Thibodeau, and you have a bunch of impact young players. If RJ Barrett is like still struggling to find himself, and mind you, like everybody else in the rotation is efficient, like legitimately efficient, like either above average or at. Like I think Randall's probably the least efficient player, and he was like average, and he was average on a shot diet that like Carmelo Anthony would like probably be wary of because that shot diet was wild. But like we're just like we're
And
acting
it wasn't like 2021. Sorry, I just want to say, I think that was the most impressive part about Randall's season. Is like if you look at Randall's 2021, he clearly ran hot from like 15 feet to 3. Like that was the true shooting spike. He was just god moding long 2s and 3s. He shot like 5% worse from both 15 to 20 feet and from 3 last season, but his true shooting percentage was better because his shot diet was so much better.
And he was a floater god. Like his 3 to 10 was like elite. It was like 56%, dude. That number is nuts. But
So-
like, yeah.
So Jeff mentioned you said the first 10 games, right?
The first 10 games. What about?
You said like if the Knicks get off to like a slow start or something.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So I want to look at those first 10 games and then we can see how we think the Knicks will do because I think that could be a good way to like branch this conversation off. So the first 10 games are home against Boston. Then we go on the road for Atlanta, New Orleans, Cleveland. Then we come back home for Cleveland. Then we go back on the road for Milwaukee. Then we go to the Clipper. Then we're at home for the Clippers and the Spurs. And let me see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Game 10 is Boston.
Game 10 is Boston. Right before that is Charlotte on a Sunday. So we have Charlotte, Boston to close out those first 10 games. How do we think the team does? Boston, Atlanta, Pelicans, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Clippers, Spurs, Charlotte, Boston.
I mean,
8-2.
8-2. Wow. Okay.
8-2.
That's so.
Okay.
We
I
win,
think
but
I'll go through it. I'll go through it. if
I
you
was
want
about to
me
go through it myself too. So
Yeah,
I think they win Boston.
Yes.
Okay. I agree.
I think they beat Atlanta.
Yes.
I think they beat the Pelicans.
I agree.
I think they beat Cleveland both games.
Yeah, I was gonna go there too.
Milwaukee, that one's a toss-up. I'll say that.
Depends on how healthy Giannis is to begin the season. 'Cause I know he's having surgery right now. It might just be like a precautionary thing, but like that entire team is going to be like load managing probably for like the first 2 months. It would not surprise me if they're kind of just like
Same thing with the Clippers.
yeah.
Kawhi coming with that torn meniscus. Paul George is always dealing
Is
with
he
something.
even playing to start the season, Kawhi? Like I don't even think we know,
I don't know either.
and I
No
doubt
one
he
knows.
actually plays that game.
So Clippers, I think we can win that game. Though I would not count them out because Clippers are one of those weird teams that, like, you know, random role players, they go off. Who knows? Maybe they might have James Harden by then, and he's motivated to play really well. And
Sure.
he gives us the business at home because he always gives us the business at MSG.
Last year we played that super annoying matinee game against the Clippers at home on whatever when we were winning and then didn't grab a rebound and the Clippers got the offensive rebound and
Yeah, it was like a Saturday night game.
Batum hit that ridiculous shot.
Yeah. Yep, I remember that way too well. But yeah, I think that game is up in the air because there's a lot of determining factors there. What does the Clippers roster look like? Does it have James Harden? Does it not? Kawhi, Paul George? Like, there's a lot up in the air there. We could win that game, could lose it. Next game, Spurs. I think we win against the Spurs. Like, I know they got like all this Wemby hype or whatever, but like the team's not really good.
We root for both teams that game though. Anyway.
We beat Charlotte, of course. And
I don't know. That's a revenge game for Frank. So
Yeah, that is the Frank.
Revenge game on the bench. She's giving out those revenge cups of Gatorade and revenge towel waves. Revenge claps on the bench. Revenge high fives to LaMelo Ball.
Oh man, I think they'll play him.
Haters gonna hate.
I think they'll play him. They need
If
defense.
it's a blowout.
They need defense so badly in Charlotte.
No, I don't think they do. Their defense is good.
Really?
Yes, Charlotte's defense is good.
I don't
It was like
remember
top
being
10
good.
last year, or like top 12.
Top
was
10,
really
top
good.
12.
It was
I don't-
very good.
I don't remember this. I remember Dennis Smith Jr. being a bright spot for them defensively, but I don't remember them being that good as like a team. I hope I'm wrong, but
After All-Star break, they were like good.
yeah, I remember seeing things about them.
I don't
being
even
good
see
after
them on
All-Star
rankings
break.
right now.
They're
Yeah, I mean,
last year, but I need you to trust me.
Tyrese is just making stuff up. Like
No, they're legitimately a good defense, bro.
they're
As I said, Frank
I
will
believe-
play
I-
because they need defense.
All right, man.
So
I'm
they
not
were
even
they were
gonna
they
gaslight.
were they were like 20th last season.
Tyrese is just the
No,
gaslight. us live on
after
the-
All-Star break, bro.
Let's see if I can find that.
Tyrese just said to
After-
gaslight us. Anyways, I think Frank will play because
No, you're all right. We got to give Tyrese credit. He was right. After the All-Star break, they were
top 10.
seventh. Yeah,
Top
they were
10,
or
okay.
si- they were sixth.
Okay, but yeah, I think defensively
cooking.
though, defensively, Steve Clifford is gonna want like that guy out there. So like, I think he'll play. But yeah, that game, I think we beat Charlotte though, and then Boston on the road. I mean, I think we can beat them.
I think we lose that game, but
I think we probably lose that game, but I think we can beat them.
I think 8-2 is like realistic.
That's not too far fetched.
I would sign 6-4.
I
right
would,
now.
yes. But I think they do better than 6-4.
Yeah.
I think
what
with,
is
like,
that schedule? That's like what is every single team is a playoff team or like a potential playoff team except for
except
one.
for Spurs and Charlotte.
Or except for two.
Yeah, Spurs and Charlotte. Yeah, but I think we can
start
beat
with
these teams.
8
though.
out of 10 playoff teams, and then we go on the road for 5 games. Holy shit!
Yep. And like the December schedule is absolutely brutal because there's the in-season tournament quarterfinals. If we make those, there's all these games on the road. Like it's just a really rough time
Oh my God,
in December.
So we have a home and home against Toronto, and then wait,
No,
why are
well,
there
so
10 days off?
in-season tournament.
in-season tournament,
Oh my God!
like the
alright.
quarterfinals, semifinals, and the championship are that whole week.
Cool.
And then we have
And
Utah, Phoenix, Clippers, Lakers, Brooklyn, OKC, Orlando, Indiana, all on the road in that month.
a home and home with Milwaukee, and a home and home versus Toronto, or not a home and home, but Toronto twice.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Yeah,
December. The early part of the season is going to be kind of rough for the team. I think, though, that it will show like the team's character. Like last year when things got rough for the team. I mean, I know Thibs made the change with the rotation and stuff like that, and that really got the team on the right path. We'll see you this year if the team can able to withstand this kind of brutal, not really brutal, but like kind of weird schedule to start the year. And like with the inclusion of the in-season tournament, it does make things a little bit more interesting to begin the year as well too.
Yeah. I mean, man, if they go 8-2, that'd be so cool. I hope
If they go 8-2, I'm talking big on the internet. I'm getting a lot of things out the drafts.
Oh, JL has an interesting question. What's going to be this year's Mavs game where we lose in the most stupid way possible? That is like so hard to tell off rip because like that Mavs game, like
Chicago.
it was like Grimes was having the game of his life in the absence of Brunson, and RJ had just like got his finger sliced open.
Emmanuel
And,
quickly
like-
had 17 assists to 2 turnovers, and one of the turnovers
Like, it was the most
fucking
insane game
offensive
ever, and we
foul.
looked like we were about to win it. And then, like, literally everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Christian
like-
Wood takes a desperation 3. And it
You
goes
cannot
in.
predict what is going to be this year's Mavs game. It's just going to happen, and we're just going to have to accept it. Like, that's just how it is.
It could just not happen. Like, that doesn't have to happen. Like, I don't understand. Why are we accepting that that's going to happen?
Because, like, this is just, like, the things that happen to this franchise. Like,
Oh,
that just,
God.
like, we just have to accept the fate of, like, it's going to happen one random night. We're not going to know when. And, we're just going to accept it.
But this didn't just happen one random night. This game literally happened right after the Bulls game.
Oh yeah, right. We lost.
Remember that game? When Brunson went 0 for 2 from the line and then DeMar DeRozan? God. Ugh.
Why?
Why? Why? I don't
Brunson
understand.
went over
Why?
2, and then DeMar DeRozan got fouled in a bullshit ass pull up jumper.
Oh my God.
It could be, like, man, imagine, like, Obi Toppin having, like, some crazy, like, revenge game and, like, he hits, like, the game winner or something. Like, that
That's
could be, like,
interesting.
this year's, like, Mavs game where,
I
like,
think he's gonna
Obi
go to
Toppin
bed.
gets, like, a alley-oop poster dunk to, like, win the game at the buzzer.
Okay, first of all, Obi Toppin has had like no posters in the league. For somebody who's a
And
dunker,
exactly,
he has,
that's
like,
what
no
would make it
posters.
this year's Mavs game because it never happened before. We never seen anything like that happen.
If
with
Obi
that
Toppin's
Mavs
on the
game.
court in closing time, we made a mistake.
Further proves my
Wait,
point of it
what?
being this year's Mavs game.
I'm sorry. If Obi Toppin is on the floor in closing time, that means that the Knicks have played some horrible defense that night. I'm sorry.
Why? Isn't he
Or
gonna,
Obi's
start
just, like,
for them?
really have it going.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta talk about him no more. He's off my team.
Watch.
Yeah.
This is
We know-
exactly.
we-
See, this is this is the type of karma that's gonna come back, and that's what's gonna happen this year. It's gonna happen, and we're gonna have to talk about it on stream. And I'll be like, Therese, remember when you talked shit about Obi all the way back then? And I'm like, this is what's happening
Yeah.
because of this.
Remember when you called him Gumby? He's gonna like.
I called him
He's-
Gumby. I called him wacky waving arm flailing inflatable tube man. Run jump dunk man. He looked like the dunk man logo. And won because that's the only thing he gives you on the court. Look, man, if Obi Toppin is closing over Jarace Walker, then like Jarace Walker is got to be on some bullshit that night. I'm sorry.
Do you know is Walker good at protecting the rim at all?
Yes,
So could they run Obi Walker front court ever?
if Miles Turner is injured, which he might be. So
That's
I'm
a very high probability of that happening.
look, I'm
and he's gonna
sorry.
be on the trade block for the 9th straight year.
No, they actually gave him money this time. So I don't. Think
I
he can do a
know,
trade
and they're
block.
probably still gonna put him on the trade block again because
You know what? You're right.
it's just the Miles Turner cycle of life.
Yeah, but it's like it's Jalen Brunson versus Tyrese Halliburton, and that's always free. So, despite the fact that NBA Twitter thinks Tyrese Halliburton is the next coming of Steve Nash and Jason Kidd combined, I saw a tweet that was like Jalen Brunson is AI when Tyrese Halliburton is Jason Kidd, and I'm like, I would rather be AI. I don't know, man. Kind of feels
One
like
MVP.
MVP was the undisputed best player on a finals team. Cultural icon, greatest cultural icon of the 21st century in basketball. Bar none.
I'm calling it now. March is the easiest month of the season.
Don't say that.
No, I feel very confident in saying this right now. So we got Cleveland the first game on the road. That is a win. Then we come home and we play Atlanta, Orlando, Philadelphia twice. Who knows what Philadelphia looks like at that point? Then
We
we
haven't
have
beat by then, by the way.
then we have Portland, Sacramento, Golden State, Denver. Those are all road games. I like our chances. I like Portland.
This
I
is
like-
the easiest month?
Yes, because then it's Brooklyn, Detroit, Toronto, Spurs, OKC to end the month off.
Yeah, but OKC is a good team.
I'm
You
not moved by
said
them
so
that
to be
much.
clear, you said Cleveland, Atlanta, Philly twice, Sacramento, Golden State, and Denver.
Yes.
That's
Seven-
the easiest month.
Yes.
Dude, no way. There's got to be an easier month.
All right, we can
What
look
about-
through them.
What
February.
about look at January. January is easier. That's crazy.
January is easier. Let me see.
Yes, absolutely.
January
That's-
has like so much volume. That's why.
But still, like that's easier. Like you have a stretch where you're playing Orlando, Houston,
March is like the
Washington,
games are like spaced
Toronto,
out.
Brooklyn.
I like the spacing out of the games in March better.
Dude, Terry, Sam's just talking about it's the easiest for him. Like he only has to cover 13 games, you know, like he's
I'm thinking about my mental health in the later parts of the school year when kids are like driving me insane. January is going to be so hard covering these back-to-backs. Are you kidding me? But nah, let me see. It's Minnesota, Chicago, then Philadelphia, Washington. I like our chances versus Chicago, Washington, and Philly. Philly on the road. I don't know. Portland, all right. Dallas. I have PTSD of last year still. Memphis, they'll have Ja back by then. So, you know,
Who cares?
he'll be clear of his gun charges or whatever it is. Orlando, Houston, Washington, Toronto. Okay, Brooklyn. Denver, Miami. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting. And then Charlotte and Utah. Okay, maybe.
That's the easiest one by far.
Maybe.
What do you mean, baby?
I just like it in March the games are spaced out a little bit better. I just like that because like the back-to-backs in January, like I don't know.
Tyree,
we have like a 7-game homestand in January.
Sam's just gonna find a way to be right. That's just how it works for him. Like we're gonna go 8-8 in January and like 12-1 in March, and Sam's gonna
be bro. And he's gonna have a tweet off of it that gets like 50K likes.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
All right.
He's gonna be like, "Yo, Ice Spice looking good courtside." Boom, 70,000 likes. You know, like
it's nuts. It'll just be, or like he'll tweet some kind of GIF, and then it'll get
oh my god,
mad clicks for whatever reason, bro.
The ad revenue.
Some shit will be like
ad revenue.
He'll be like, "Y'all doing this on a Sunday?" And it'll be like 100K likes.
All right.
20K retweeted by Elon Musk himself.
Dude, Strickland is eventually going to be funded by Sam redistributing Elon's money.
Everybody got Twitter blue, and then Sam's going to be actually like living off of that shit.
I wish.
I'm out here like, okay, I got like a couple dollars this month, and then Sam's like, yo, Sam's gonna be moving like he's works for UPS now. That's how Sam's gonna be moving.
Oh my god. Let's see what else. Let's see what comments we have here. Okay, you asked an interesting question. Which one is the best player? Randall with faster processing speed. RJ isn't fat and gets 35% from 3. Brunson grows 4 inches. Well,
Brunson at like 6'5" is better shape.
Man, I would take Randall. I feel like Randall's an MVP candidate if he.
Yeah, but Brunson would also be an MVP candidate.
I don't know.
And he'd also be a better defender.
Why wouldn't he just be like Halliburton? Or like, excuse me, like I mean like similar profile, but like a better Halliburton. I mean, are we sure he would just be like a good defender just because he's a couple inches taller?
I mean, but like he would be more passable in defense instead of being like 6'1".
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like do you imagine Halliburton could score like 27 and like if Halliburton can give you like 28 and 8?
Yeah. Randall is just like, I think this is why he's so frustrating to me. He's already such an athletic, physical freak, and he's so clearly intelligent. I just think he sees himself as like a LeBron Melo. Like he wants to stop the ball, and like that's how he thinks stars are supposed to act. And it's very frustrating.
Fair. Actually, now that I think about it, like Randall with the ability to like process the court would probably average a triple-double.
Yeah, he'd be so good.
You're actually right. Never mind. I have to think about that. I'm like, wait, so like you're telling me that Randall is already scoring 25, but now he has like even better shot selection with a better whistle and the ability to like make swing passes? He's LeBron.
Yeah, he'd be like LeBron. Yeah, that's like, I know that's like crazy to say, but it's not. They're actually pretty similarly They're actually pretty similar physically.
He'd be Miami LeBron without the defense. So like, yeah.
So still an MVP. An MVP.
Second. So it'd be like second stint Cleveland LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns' defense in the playoffs for Cleveland was still really
Okay,
good.
but like we're talking like regular season.
Yeah, no, he
so
was definitely mad at them.
Yeah, so he'd be like 30, 10, and like 8.
He'd be amazing. He would. I think
And he'd be making $27 million, bro.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, never
Yeah,
mind. You're right.
Do you guys think the Knicks are going to extend quickly before the offseason's over?
Yes. Yes. I think he gets a very team-friendly deal. I don't think he hits 9 figures. I think he gets like 490.
Whoa.
I don't think he gets 9 figures.
Dude, honestly, we should start constructing the statue for Leon if he gets under 9 figures.
Dude,
the Brunson Randall quickly contracts, if it's actually 4 for 90, that trio would just be preposterous. That's Randall and Brunson were probably the 2 most underpaid players in the NBA last season.
For the production that they
Them
gave.
2 and
For
marketing.
the production that they gave, yeah.
Yeah.
That's I don't know.
I think it's gonna be like 492, maybe like 96 with incentives. I think that deal is gonna surprise a lot of people, and people are gonna be pissed for him.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, but like DeAndre Hunter got 94 million, but like I don't know, man. Like being a small guard in this market, and like he's not even small, but like the fact that he's not like one of the bigger guards that like a lot of teams kind of gravitate towards.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the 6-man campaign gives him like Malcolm Brogdon money, and Malcolm Brogdon money is like 4 for 88.
Somebody made a really good point. The Knicks have a really good bargaining chip in the fact that they can just be like, dude, we're not giving you more money than Jalen Brunson. Like, there's no way an agent could argue there's no way an agent could argue that you're paying him more than Jalen Brunson. And like, it would be a really weird negotiation if they were like, well, yeah, but Brunson should actually be making $200 million. You guys are too good at your jobs. Like, so like, that's where you have to start if you're the Knicks and then go down.
Yeah, I think that deal is going to surprise a lot of people because like Bagley has been saying $18 to $22 million per year. If you could get quickly on the lower end of that figure, like say he's making like $20 million. So between Brunson, Randall, and Quickly, you probably have 3 of the 5 best contracts in the NBA. Like,
yeah, it would be like 3 of the 5 best contracts in the NBA if we got Quickly.
But guys, we didn't retain Trevor Keels. Like, it's a failure of the offseason that we didn't do that.
He's in the G League. You're G League, right? We're fine.
The things this fan base finds to cry about.
Oh, people got mad about Trevor Keels over what was his face? I forget. Like somebody got mad at like we didn't keep Trevor Keels.
We signed a bunch of like random guys.
I don't know, man. It's
all right. Let's see. So Jordan Bub asks for way too early rotation predictions and most utilized closing lineup we will see this season. Brunson, I think the rotation is pretty like set in stone pretty much. Like DiVincenzo takes Obi's spot. And
I think you're thinking about more like minutes than like rotation.
Oh, minutes?
Yeah.
We kind of know what we get with.
I think starters. Quickly averages more minutes than RJ this season.
It's not too far-fetched.
It's impossible.
I think he does.
Bet?
How much?
I'll give you 2-1. I don't know, whatever you want to bet. I'll friendly bet right now. There's no way. It's impossible with how Tibbs rotates. I'll give you 2-1.
True. The way Tibbs rotates.
Quickly is not allowed to play the first 8 minutes of halves. How is he going to average more minutes?
Unless Tibbs is like going to seriously deviate from like his diabolical plans.
I think when dudes get getting paid.
Tyrese, I'll tell you how it happens. Bam Adebayo goons it up again and nails Jalen Brunson's knee. That is your path to winning the bet. That's it. If quickly becomes the starter, sure, that is it. But off the bench, it's impossible. It's actually impossible.
I I think okay.
He thinks Tibbs is gonna have a change of heart.
I think
Tyrese, the Tibbs defender.
Tibbs is different when guys get paid. That's what I will say.
Okay, so let's bet. I'll put up $20 to your $10.
Fine. Deal.
Good luck. Or I'll put up if you don't want to do cash, I'll put up my 2 Nickelback songs to your 1 Nickelback song.
Are we gonna do the Nickelback thing? We're bringing it back. Okay, so technically, Sam, hear me out. So I said he wouldn't get more than $70 million. He didn't get it guaranteed. He got $358 guaranteed.
Fuck out of here, dude. You guys were talking $12 to $15 million a year. I literally said exactly 4 for 70. I wasn't just close. I was exactly right.
It wasn't guaranteed.
Yeah. I can't believe you're trying to claim this. You cannot claim this.
Okay, fine. But like I was looking at the numbers like post Josh Hart trade, and like RJ was averaging 30 minutes and Quickly was averaging like 29. It was
I'm sorry. He had the fakest 28 minutes per game I've ever seen in my entire life. It was like as a bench player 22, as a starter 47. Like, and he started 20 of 80 games.
But all I'm saying, it doesn't matter how we get there, as long as we get there.
I agree with you, but so first of all, I agree with you for the bet. Obviously, if he got there like that, you would win the bet. I just thought the spirit of your comment was like, assuming health, I still think Quickly could average more minutes than RJ. And I just think that's impossible.
I just think there's a world where like Tibbs goes, I don't need to play RJ Barrett to close games for the first 50 games of the year. And there's a pathway for like Emmanuel Quickly to just be an impact player. And Josh Hart is an impact player. And Dante DiVincenzo gives you an option. Quentin Grimes gives you an option. I think if RJ Barrett comes out the gates and he's like stumbling and you see the rest of the team kind of like gelling and they're playing really good basketball and it's kind of like looks like last year down the stretch, then I would not be surprised if like for this season Quickly is at like, let's say 29 and RJ might be at like 28.
I guess so here's the problem that I have with that. Like if you had said before the 2021 season, you were like, and I'm not comparing RJ to Elf, nobody get crazy. But if somebody was like, I think that who's a wing off the bench for that Knicks team? Alec Burks, I guess. If somebody was like, Alec Burks could average more minutes than Elfrid Payton, I would be like, okay, I guess that's possible. But Derrick Rose is the one who's going to soak up all the non-Payton minutes. Like, that is how Tibbs thinks. So if RJ comes out of the gate struggling, you know who's going to benefit? It's going to be Josh Hart. That's who's going to benefit because that is his direct replacement. That's how Tibbs views things. If Tibbs doesn't want RJ Barrett on the court, it'll just be Josh Hart playing a bunch of minutes. Quickly won't get more of those minutes. The only minutes Emmanuel Quickly can get are Jalen Brunson minutes or Quentin Grimes minutes. That's it. Those are the only minutes he can get. So
my retort would be that now that you're essentially running a small ball lineup with RJ at the 4, if you're kicking Josh Hart to the 4, you're kicking Quentin Grimes to the 3, that creates a hole where I think Emmanuel Quickly gets minutes. I think we have to consider the fact that like we don't have a backup 4 in the traditional sense. And now that lineup is more malleable and Josh Hart can play the 4.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. So you're saying that there will be, if you have RJ struggling, you'll have minutes where Hart's at the 4 and then you
Grimes at the 3,
and they'll just
and then
Grimes. Yeah. So kind of what you're kind of making an argument for Grimes then. Would you say you feel even more confident that Grimes will play more minutes than RJ?
No, because I don't think Grimes does enough right now offensively to where like Tibbs is going to trust him to play those big minutes. And plus, I think that Dante DiVincenzo and Grimes are going to be like duking it out for minutes all season long. I think Quickly just has an opportunity to make it because he can play the 1, he can play the 2. Sorry, and the fact that you can kick Grimes and Hart down a position gives Quickly more minutes because he's just going to be the de facto. I'm in the lineup anyway, so that's kind of my reasoning.
I gotta be honest. I'm not rooting for RJ to struggle like you are, but if it means Quickly plays a ton of minutes, like if Quickly averaged 30 minutes a game, I would be happy to Venmo you $20. So I guess we'll see what happens.
I don't know, man. I think Quickly's gonna have a year. I think he's just gonna have a year. Like
I hope so. Needs to make up for not he needs to make up, but I need something to make up for the fact that he didn't get Sixth Man of the Year.
I don't give a shit about that award. He was easily the best
I do.
player.
I had money on that. Screw everybody involved.
I completely forgot about the Emmanuel Quickly
Screw
6 Man of the Year
everyone
odds.
involved.
I went on a space and pimped it out. I was literally on there, anybody who can get plus 15,000 right now, this is the best bet you'll ever have. And I had 10 different people DM me a week or two later, holy shit, what do I do with this money? And I was yeah, we're gonna.
Wait, did you cash out?
No, of course not. I just
Sam, did you cash out the Quickly bet?
No, I didn't.
Damn.
I was holding out. I was holding out hope that the voters would do right by the people, and they did not. Screw all of them. They can suck some eggs for that.
I'm sorry, Tyrese, that me and Sam didn't know that Hardem Perix of whatever dude was gonna write some freaking essay about
Screw that dude, Matt Moore, that bald freak.
New York bias. Sorry, we didn't know that was gonna happen. That guy is
such a loser just because he can't bet. Because he sucks at gambling. He decided to take it out on Emmanuel Quickly's chances of winning a real award. But I hope Malcolm Brogdon is happy with it in his rehab for all his ligaments that are torn right now. Anyways, I think we can end things off here with our final season predictions. Final season record predictions.
51-31.
Wow. Okay. I will go on them just missing the mark because I am so used to being hurt. 49 and whatever the number is that will be preceding will be after that. So 82 minus 49, 33. 49-33 the next season record will be. What do you say, Jeff?
So I think this team has a really high floor. I'd be really surprised if they won fewer. I don't get how their over-under is 44.5. I'd be really, really surprised if they won fewer than 43 games. And I said the other day on Twitter, I legitimately think they have a 60-win ceiling. I think they could be the 1 seed. I just don't. I don't. Do I call my shot though? Am I that ballsy? I'm gonna project 55 wins, 55-27.
I thought I was the optimist. Holy shit!
Wow.
Yeah.
That means they would be the 1 seed.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I don't understand. I'm just one last me being pissed off at everything rant. At what point do we start actually having expectations? How much longer are we going to try to have our cake and eat it too? This is a team that won 48 games last year, right?
47. It should have been 49. We tanked the last
47 games last season, benching Randall and Brunson the last 3 games of the season.
And we tanked the first quarter of the season.
47 games of the season. They started 10-13.
We decided to play Cam Reddish for whatever reason.
They got DiVincenzo. Whatever you think of Obi Toppin, and I am actually probably higher on him than most. DiVincenzo for the Knicks is an upgrade over Obi Toppin for the Knicks. That is true. So they replaced Obi with DiVincenzo. RJ, Quickly, Grimes, Mitch, Hardenstein, who the fuck else? They're all under 25 years old. So you have a 47-win team that played at a 55-win pace, and all their players are supposed to get better. There have to be real expectations. It should be seen as a failure if the Knicks go 45, if the Knicks are a 6 seed and then lose in the first round. I'm sorry, that should be deemed a failure. And we need to start having real conversations if that happens, not about the players. I'm sorry, that needs to be the next step. And they're never, ever going to be willing to take that next step as long as we have people who are just like happy that they're competent. We can't be floor raisers anymore. We have to go after the ceiling of this team and find out what it is. And I get it if they're I understand the front office has done enough good things that if there are people who are like, okay, like I'd be okay with them. I'd obviously want to keep them and give them a chance to make a star trade and bring in a star. But like you have to start wondering about the coach. If I'm sorry, like I hate always bringing it back to him, but I don't know. It has to be seen as a failure if this team doesn't get home court advantage this season because it's right there for the taking.
Some predictions in the comments we have. JL says 55-27 vibes matter. That is true. I trust their vibes the most out of all the East teams. I mean, the Knicks have the least amount of controversy. They have like the least amount of headlines. Anything that you hear about the Knicks this offseason has been mainly positive. You got Jalen Brunson leading captain. He's being Captain America for Team USA. You got RJ. He's doing well in FIBA for Canada. You know, and nothing really has come out of anything else from the Knicks. I mean, anything that you see, it's mostly positive. That's good to have going into the season.
The sphere is up, like the sphere.
Ace Bouchard predicts 74-8. Okay, he sees us, you know, breaking the what is it, the Warriors record of 73-9. Okay,
dude,
ambitious.
Ace has been killing it in the chat. Like half the time he's like, we're going undefeated. The other half he's like, Randall sucks. Quickly doesn't deserve any money. Like I've been loving it.
We also got Jordan Bubb. He says 65-17 and winners of the in-season tournament.
I think they win the in-season tournament.
I like this. I like this mode of thinking right here.
I do think they will actually win the tournament though. Like I feel confident in them winning the tournament. I think Tom Thibodeau is gonna actually try his ass off for that one.
Oh hell yeah, he's such a tryhard for all these type of things. Yeah.
He's treating it like it's the playoffs.
Oh for sure.
I think the team's gonna treat it like it's the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna like probably cut it down to like an 8-man rotation. Like he's probably gonna like do like some weird shit where like one of these guys plays like 15 minutes or whatever it is. Like he's just like not gonna play any games.
Dante, get on the fucking bench.
Yeah, if he sees that one of these guys is like not locked in all the way, he's just gonna be like, nah.
Obi, fuck, he's not on the team.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's actually a really good point. Who is this year's Obi? I guess.
Oh man, it's
gotta be Quickly, right?
It's gonna be like Quickly, or it's
It
gonna
can't
be
be Quickly. He's getting paid.
It's gonna be Quickly or RJ.
It's gonna be RJ.
It's gonna be Quickly or RJ.
It's gonna be RJ,
one of them.
dude.
It's gotta be someone young. It's gonna be someone relatively young.
It's probably Grimes, actually, right?
Or Grimes. It could be Grimes. Sadly,
Grimes
hasn't got paid
struggling
yet.
the way he was struggling, like in the middle of the season,
or in the playoffs. Yeah, it could get nasty.
Especially Dante DiVincenzo's like.
Oh yeah, it could get real nasty.
Oh,
it could get real nasty.
Cause like if Dante come out shooting like Mourinho Hannes, like shout out to Mourinho Hannes, by the way.
She was killing it in that Commissioner's Cup.
Sauciest player in the world. Don't care. I just have to say that.
Lead her on the Knicks. She'd had some good vibes to the Knicks.
She's just French Steve Novak and J.R. Smith. It's great.
Ace Bouchard says, never mind, the Knicks are going to disappoint because I just saw Bobby Marks has the Knicks and Suns in the finals.
That would be a wild finals, by the way. I just gotta say that out loud.
That would be a fun finals.
I would
love for the Knicks to like get some revenge on KD for saying that we weren't cool all those years ago.
That would be the narrative the entire year, though. I don't want that. Like the entire fucking playoffs would be.
I can only imagine the slander you two would throw at Bradley Beal. Oh, Brad, you know, like you guys be all over that guy.
Oh, man,
I hate losers like him.
Just wait till the season get like middle of December. You see like Zach LaVine is struggling.
Oh man,
DeRozan putting up like 23 points a game on like nothing but mid-range jumpers and spite. Thinking he go hoop. Oh, I'm waiting. We added Jimmy Butler to the list this year. Please.
JL says no Knicks Suns finals, please. We don't need another KD Randall mic'd up moment. Yeah,
I'm still upset.
That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. Randall really thought he was like going at it with like KD, and then KD just like absolutely was just like shooting lights out. And yeah. All right. So Jeff says 55 wins. Tyrese says 51. I say 49. I am always somehow the pessimist in these. It's not on purpose. I promise, people. It's not on purpose. I'm not being a pessimist on purpose. But yeah, I think this is a good place to end off. Shout out to everyone that tuned in. We are getting back into the groove of these live streams as the season gets closer. We'll definitely be putting out some more stuff probably as maybe FIBA goes on. Maybe we'll talk about that as things go on. We'll see how things roll as we get closer and closer to the season. Preseason will be here before you know it, within the next 2 months. So yeah, we'll be back for those as well. Shout out to everyone that tuned in. Shout out to everyone that left a comment. Shout out to James for the first ever super chat in the history of the Strickland. It will be memorialized and remembered forever. So yeah, make sure you guys check out everything in the description. We got links to the site, merch, Twitter, Patreon, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys are following us everywhere. We got the handles for the Instagram and Twitter over here in the corners of your screen, so definitely give us a follow on those as well. Make sure you guys leave a like on this video and subscribe, as we are on our way to 1K subs. All that you do does help us get to that point. And we'll catch you guys on the next stream. Peace out. Enjoy your night, folks.